Good morning. Come, let us discuss the essence of sexual Tantra. There are many things we can concentrate upon when we meditate. Of all the different things we can concentrate on, they fit into two categories. That which is a contrivance, which we have to force our minds to notice, and that which is spontaneous, what we spontaneously notice. For instance, if you have the misfortune to stub your toe and you're in great pain, you have a spontaneous awareness of that pain. Therefore, concentrating on that pain is almost effortless. The same thing applies to pleasure. When we receive great pleasure, we are spontaneously aware of that pleasure, and therefore meditating upon that pleasure is effortless. All things being equal, a spontaneous concentration, spontaneous meditation is always superior to a contrived meditation. Now, we are wired to be hedonistic creatures. We are born to be somewhat akin to naughty Roman emperors. So when we receive pleasure, whether it's G-rated, R-rated, or X-rated, if we're really, really clever and industrious, we can bring that pleasure into the essence of Buddha's path. And in so doing, not only will we increase our ability to savor that pleasure, not only will that pleasure grow more intense, but we'll do two things. We'll increase our good karma and increase our wisdom. It's been said in Mahayana teachings that the perfection of our accumulation of good karma is the rupakaya, or the form body of a Buddha. And the perfection of our collection of wisdom is the Dharmakaya, the wisdom body of a Buddha. If you properly practice sexual Tantra, you will be increasing both your collection of good karma and your collection of wisdom. When asked what the meaning of life is, the Dalai Lama often says, the meaning of life can be found in gathering the two collections for the two purposes. What does that mean? Well, he'll elaborate and say, the two purposes are enlightenment for oneself, so that you can turn around and enlighten everyone else. Sounds good. What are the two collections? We just mentioned that. Good karma and wisdom. So if we set an altruistic intention that we're going to practice sexual Tantra for the purpose of our enlightenment, so then we will be more empowered to truly benefit others. We're then ready to seize the essence of our life, to make our life truly meaningful, and increase our collections of good karma and wisdom. So, how do you do that? Glad you asked. First things first. The path of good karma and wisdom is as easy as the path of love and letting go, and the path of awareness and letting go. We're going to start with the first one. That's super simple. So let's just, what are our five senses? What we feel, what we smell, what we taste, what we hear, what we see. So we become aware, we increase our awareness, we guide our awareness with a simple question, what feeling? And on the out-breath, we express our intention, share with all. So let's keep this G-rated for a moment. Let's pretend it's been a hard day and your sweetheart's giving you either a shoulder rub or a foot rub, whichever you prefer, a nice G-rated pleasure. And so in the in-breath, you could ask, what feeling? And that just enhances your awareness of the pleasure you're already receiving. And the out-breath, you could mentally, silently express the intention, share with all. Now, we all tend to be not only hedonists, but self-centered. When we take the natural momentum of our self-centered sense-loving, and we choose to break out of that cocoon, we choose to break out of that chrysalis, and look around us at the infinity of living beings, and say, this feels great. May everyone receive such pleasure. That's love. That's using our self-centered pleasure to fuel our universal awareness, the desire of all other living beings for pleasure. And believe it or not, that's love. What feeling? Share with all. So let's pretend you're making love or swapping sexual favors with your sweetheart, with your life partner. Once again, what feeling? Letting go. You like pleasure? Everyone wants pleasure. We might have different definitions of pleasure. Everyone's a little different. Some people like foot rubs, some people like shoulder rubs, some people like both, and the like. But that's the basic idea, is that we use our selfish savoring of pleasure as a stepping stone to the universal intention to fulfill all living beings. Pretty cool, huh? So that works with all 5 sense pleasures. Obviously, when you're making love, what you feel is a huge deal. Well, let's face it. The scent of your lover, the taste of your lover, if these things give you pleasure, then share them with the universe. What tasting? Share with all. What feeling? What smelling on the in-breath? If it gives you pleasure, then on the out-breath, share with all. What hearing? If the sighs and coos and moans of your sweetheart give you pleasure, then what hearing on the in-breath? Share with all on the out-breath. And these aren't things you say verbally during sex, because that would take your lover out of the moment. These are things you say silently, mentally, in your own head, between your own ears. We call it mental recitations or silent recitations. Lastly, we have sight. For men, sight is a huge thing. Being able to look into your lover's face as you make love, or admire your lover's form as you make love. That's a great source of pleasure. What seeing? On the in-breath, on the out-breath, share with all. So, when you first learn this could seem difficult, but in a very short time it'll be very intuitive. So if you wanted to, you could just warm up with maybe 3 repetitions of each of these 5 exercises while you're involved with foreplay, or while you're involved in actual coitus. What feeling? Share with all, 3 times. What smelling? Share with all. What tasting? Share with all. What hearing? Share with all. What seeing? Share with all. They could say, hey, Lama Jigme, that sounds pretty contrived. What happened to spontaneity? Well, contrivance lays the foundation upon which spontaneity can manifest. It's like a figure skater. First you freeze the ice, then you can skate upon it. So, maybe in the first, 60 seconds of lovemaking, you run through these 5 contemplations. Then as you make love spontaneously, as you are aware of sensation, or scent, or taste, or sound, or sight, whatever you're spontaneously experiencing in the moment, or savoring in the moment, use that to feed your universal love. So that's the first half. That's how we increase our collection of good karma. For it is written in the Mahayana scriptures that compassion and love and bodhicitta are the most efficient ways of purifying our bad karma and increasing our good karma. Now let's increase our wisdom. The in-breath is exactly the same. We notice what we are experiencing, what we are spontaneously savoring in the moment. And this time on the out-breath, instead of intending share with all, what we're intending is letting go. Now remember, letting go is not pushing away. Letting go is simply letting go. It's like if a bird lands in your hand. Okay, well, you don't grab it and go, it's a bird, because then you have a dead bird. And you don't go, ew, it's a bird, because you'll probably break the bird's leg, and the bird won't care for that very much. Put your hand out, a bird lands on your finger, oh, it's very nice, hello, little bird, and the bird leaves when it desires. We do not make it leave, we do not prevent it from leaving, we simply notice its arrival, savor its presence, and notice its departure. The key to letting go is not to confuse it with pushing away. Remember the 3 mental poisons of greed, hate, and confusion. We don't want to, in the name of practicing wisdom, it is sadly ironic that so many people practice aversion. No one practices aversion. So letting go of pleasure isn't despising pleasure. It's recognizing the fact that we only experience pleasure in waves. Just as when you throw a smooth stone into the placid waters of a pond, it generates concentric ripples. And those ripples might interact with an object. One ripple after another after another. That's how we feel pleasure. We feel a ripple of pleasure, followed by another ripple of pleasure, followed by another ripple of pleasure. Those ripples pass through us and around us. If we try to grasp onto the ripples of pleasure, number 1, it won't work. Number 2, we'll be oblivious to the next ripple of pleasure. So what works better for pleasure, for everything else, just notice it, watch it arrive, savor its presence, watch it depart, which prepares us for the arrival of the next ripple of pleasure. As I've mentioned in previous lessons, on every in-breath we tend to tighten up, which is an ideal time to practice concentration. On every out-breath, whether we know it or not, we spontaneously let go, relax. And that's the opportune time to let go. As our body is spontaneously letting go of its breath, we can choose to mentally and emotionally spontaneously let go of the object of our attention. So whether we're receiving a foot rub or a back rub, something a bit more naughty, it's the same thing. What feeling? Letting go. Let's do that 3 times. On the in-breath. What smelling? On the out-breath, letting go. Let's do that 3 times. On the in-breath. What tasting? On the out-breath, letting go. Again, 3 times. What hearing? Letting go. And finally, what seeing? Letting go. Now, I'm going to say something that most guys are embarrassed to admit, but it's true. Men tend to be very, very selfish. Men tend to get bored while performing cunnilingus. At first it's very exciting, but, boys have TV attention span, and after 45 seconds, we're bored and restless. But typically it takes between 3 to 8 minutes of skillful cunnilingus to get your partner to climax, which is the polite thing to do. Gentlemen, it's very good manners to fulfill your partner's needs. So, how do you keep yourself occupied, no less enthusiastic, for 3 to 8 minutes? Meditate. That's when you can get your contrived love meditations and your contrived letting go meditations taken care of. And then when you move on to something else, and you can indulge your spontaneity, that's when you do your spontaneous love and letting go meditations. And so I say spontaneous love and letting go, that would be something as simple as 3 rounds of what feeling, share with all, what feeling, share with all, what feeling, share with all, followed by what feeling, letting go, what feeling, letting go, what feeling, letting go. Once had a tantric partner who loved to watch me while I performed cunnilingus. That made her very, very happy. If you forgive the phrase, it made her quite titillated. And so for her, there would be what seeing, share with all, what seeing, share with all, what seeing, share with all. What's seeing, letting go, what's seeing, letting go, what's seeing, letting go. Now you could say, hey, this is a lot of stuff to juggle while I'm naked with my honey. And the answer is, yes it is. Repetition is the mother of skill. So if you want to get good at meditating with your clothes off, you should spend some time first meditating with your clothes on. And that's the beauty of bringing G-rated pleasure into the path. So if it's a beautiful morning, you're going out to get your newspaper or perhaps mail a letter. As you walk outside towards the mailbox, you can do your love meditation. What feeling? Share with all. What smelling? Share with all. What hearing? As you hear the birds. Share with all. What seeing? As you see the splendor of the morning. Share with all. On your way back from the mailbox, you can do the wisdom practices. What feeling? Letting go. What smelling? Letting go. What hearing? Letting go. What seeing? Letting go. When you eat breakfast, you can do what tasting? Share with all. Followed by what tasting? Letting go. Eventually, in less than a week, if you do this maybe 5 minutes or so a day, in less than a week, this should become like second nature. Once you move from the realm of contrivance to the realm of spontaneity, when you can do this effortlessly without really thinking about it, that's the ideal time to bring it into your sex life. That way you don't have to be all rigid and in your head, because that never works. You really can't experience sexual pleasure if you're in your prefrontal cortex. Most sexual pleasure is down here in the brain stem. So, hence the advantage of making these exercises spontaneous and habitual. Now, here's the thing. Whether you're doing it G-rated or X-rated, whether you're doing it for innocent pleasures or naughty pleasures, it will still increase your good karma, your love, your wisdom, and your freedom. Pretty sweet deal. So just by being the hedonist that you were born to be, you can make profound strides upon the path to enlightenment. How cool is that? Till next we speak, may you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum.